Hello, Knights fans. I'm Mike Baleshva, Director of Athletic Communications. Joining me now to look at the 2015 softball season is head coach Amy Delmore. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Before we look ahead at 2015, let's look back at last season. You had a season where you guys had an unbelievable season. You had 40 wins. You finished at the top of the conference, made it to the NCAA regional, had a no-hitter in the regional. Just sum up last year for us.
Last year was exactly what we were hoping for. We doubled our wins from the previous season. Individually met all of our goals that we were working towards. As a team, we fell short a little bit at the regionals, but we were happy that we clinched a bid, and the first time for all of those girls making it to the regionals. So it was very, very exciting.
And how do you think having a successful season like that leads into this year? Do you think, I mean, how can you possibly match that success? I mean, what kind of realistic expectations do you put on this season?
Realistic expectations are hard. They're going to be very high for us. It's only going to go up from here.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have all of our returners minus a few key players from last year.
Mm-hmm.
We gained 4 incoming freshmen. And already I could, first day of practice, know that the girls worked so hard over the winter break. Pitching staff is going to be dominant. Super excited about this year. I think that this is our year to do some big things.
Well, you talk about the pitching staff. Let's start there. I guess it kind of, you have 2 big returning players. One is your senior from Virginia, Izzy Yarrow, and the other is an all-conference player, all-American player, who also played first base, and that's Monique Robert. So let's start with Izzy, though. Izzy threw a no-hitter last year. She was all-conference. She had an ERA very low. Just talk about what you're expecting out of her.
Izzy was stellar last year. She finished so strong. She had a 1.99 ERA. She had 90 strikeouts, 150 something innings pitched. She was awesome for us. She was so dominant on the mound. She took control of everything. She's just really effective. No one can really touch Izzy when she's on.
And I think you saw the maturity from 2 years ago to last year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she worked out super hard to get where she needed to be. And like I said, going this year, she's just going to be that much better.
And talk about Monique. What did you see out of her, and what are your expectations for this year?
Monique was a player when we first had her that we knew we had something special. We each year gave her very high expectations and goals to meet, and she met them. Last year she worked so hard to get her pitching back. It's been years since she pitched. Together with the coaching staff, I mean, she got it back. She was an ace on the mound for us. She threw a no-hitter against her first game against Delphi at the regional tournament. She's, again, is dominant. When Mo is on, she's on, and no one can touch her. And at the plate, she was, super effective for us, killed us in RBIs, and, 14 to 15 home runs. And
untouchable,
untouchable.
It's true. It's true.
At first base too, she was.
Some umpires in Virginia didn't like the way she was pitching.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning it was rocky with her foot coming off the mound. But she got through. She actually got she got through the whole season without any errors.
Great.
She was ever free.
I think another player worth mentioning who's a key returning was your designated player last year from Long Island, from Glen Cove, someone who was the ECC Rookie of the Year. Kayla Morrissey, I think she was honorable mention All-American, excuse me. Just talk about what you saw out of her and what are your expectations for this year from Kayla?
Bringing Kayla in as a recruit, we knew we had something special. Offensively, she's got a tremendous bat, crazy amount of power, and she pulled through for us last year. She came through in some really clinch moments, and we're really proud that she got the accolades she did. And going into this year, we're expecting everything from last year, plus some. She still has some, left in the tank.
Sure,
she's still young.
Sure,
She's only a sophomore, and
on the tread on the tires, as it were. That's
exactly.
good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, who's someone else that our fans who kind of flew under the radar, who they may not know that well, but you're expecting big things out of this year?
I think Sam Matson, who's a senior shortstop. She, my last years working with her, she definitely fell under the radar. She's a phenomenal ball player. She's pretty much our clinch hitter. She always comes through when we need it to be.
Sure.
Her range at shortstop is phenomenal. She had a bad injury last year that she took care of, and She's back at it this year, looking better than ever. So I hope that this year that we'll give her more goals and expectations that she can meet, and hopefully that our fans and our opponents will really recognize.
Cool. Now you brought in 4 new players this year, locally, 3 from New York and 1 from New Jersey. Just talk about what you see in them and what your expectations are for them.
Excuse me. We'll first start with the pitching staff. We have Morgan coming back from next year, which is going to be a big help for us. Our incoming freshman, Tony Marie, is from Long Island.
Right.
She's a lefty pitcher. She has tremendous amount of movement on the ball,
Right.
and her poise on the mound is just awesome. She's very confident and control the game, and she's fairly young, so I think she'll be very helpful for us this year and going forward. We have Alyssa Neal from New Jersey, who's a middle infielder. She is phenomenal glove, great range.
Sure.
She's quick too, so I think she's going to work with her bat this year.
She'll be in the mix at second base,
Yeah,
you think?
she'll definitely. I think that she'll be in the mix at second base.
Okay.
She's going to help us out a lot. We have Tori from Long Island, who is also a middle infielder. In the fall, she showed great glove work. She's a hard worker. Unfortunately, she had injury. So it's questionable if she's going to be back this season or not, but
Okay.
the following season we'll definitely have her.
Good.
And the last one is Jeannie. Jeannie's from Oceanside.
Right.
I can describe Jeannie as a player that will run through a wall for you. She's
It's good to have
very
her.
determined. She's a young player. She wants to work though. She's still learning the game a lot, and I think that she'll be helpful for us.
I want to go back and ask a question about Tony Marie. You mentioned that she was a lefty. For those of us that may not know the nuances of pitching, how do you think in softball particularly does having a lefty with movement affect somebody at bat in terms of hitting that pitch?
Well, lefties are hard to find in softball, an effective lefty. When you do face a lefty, it's obviously the ball's coming from the opposite hip.
Okay.
It's a lot different. A good mix would be to start a righty and throw in a lefty, and that completely, throws off most batters.
So is your thought to use her out of the bullpen?
Yeah, I think that, especially this year, she's definitely going to be, halfway through the game closer. She'll get her starts. I think, though, for us, that she's going to be extremely effective in closing and saving games.
Sure. So you kind of looked back at the newcomers and the returning players. Just overall, what do you think are realistic goals for 2015 when you look at the conference as a whole?
Look, the conference are definitely finishing on top. We're going to keep our goals of keeping everyone healthy and safe. As long as that happens, by far the best pitchers in the conference. Probably the top 4 hitters in the conference. As a team, our attitude is very positive, motivational. We all want the same dream, and I think everyone's on the same page, and they're all very excited to work and to start the season. Which
is going to happen soon. That was Queens College softball coach Amy Delmore. You can follow the softball team and all the teams by logging on to www.queensknights.com.